some kind of experience definitely helps. But no, you'd be surprised. There's gems out there that could run way beyond what you can imagine. When you're hiring overseas, your talent pool is 1,000x bigger than the talent pool that you have within a 50-mile radius of your law firm. They could run your law firm for you, as weird as it sounds.
Welcome to my legal academy, helping lawyers work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your system is this. You go to the conferences with intention of not learning something, but actually creating an actionable tasks.
Right then and then.
Right there and then, while you're listening to somebody speak, actionable items for A, yourself, and or B, other team members who can execute on those tasks. Are you good at executing on the tasks that you create for yourself, or do you mostly delegate them out?
I'm actually a huge implementer. Everything that got me up to here was implementing everything. And I think the reason is I don't overthink things too much. I'm able to just go do it without overthinking it. And anything that I delegated out, I know how to do myself. So I know what it takes, how long it takes, what's expected. So yeah, totally. The delegation is good, but it also pays to know what's going on. Let's just say one example is with marketing. A lot of things that I teach inside of our program, I don't expect our lawyers to necessarily do it themselves. I say, hey, here's let's just say Sasha, who knows how to do this. Go hire him for this, but have these things in mind. You need to be able to track your stuff. This is how you track it. Make sure that the person you're working with can do this for you. Second is know your cost per lead, know your cost per acquisition. And third, once you know those things, then could be basically play math and kind of scale it up. But that requires for you to understand what's going on with the marketing, not just hand it off. Nobody cares as much as the law firm owner. So you need to know what's going on and really be very crystal clear with what your goal is, what your tracking is, and kind of be on top of that in order for it to actually work out.
So take action and make sure that you have the right people in the right places who can execute on the tasks that you give them. So when you think about a virtual law firm, in my understanding of a virtual law firm, correct me if I'm wrong, it gives you freedom, but you're also probably going to be a solo with support staff around you. That staff can be in-house or outsourced. Did I get that right?
It doesn't have to be solo for sure. And most lawyers, I hope, won't be solo because it's kind of boring.
And
but
hard.
But yeah, but the second part, I don't see it as a fully virtual law firm. I don't think that's the most efficient way to run a law firm. It's the hybrid model is the way to go, which encompasses a headquarters that's in-house with your key staff, like your intake manager, your attorney if need be, your case manager, whoever is kind of like the director or managers of the day-to-day. But your day-to-day is virtual. That includes your intakers who are signing up clients, your document collectors, your case managers, anything that has to be done on a day-to-day basis. All of those could be virtual or much cheaper with people that are just better talent pool and for a lot of good reasons. So kind of like a hybrid model is the way to go.
When you think about a high performance team for a virtual law firm, aside from the people that you've listed, who else do you need to make things happen? And I know that you operate a 7-figure business law firm, right? In addition to the legal funnel, right?
Yeah, so I have 6 other law firms besides Legal Funnel. Ultimately, where you want to be is an organization. In an organization, there's sales, there's operations, there's marketing, and then I also see like another one is business development, which is outside of marketing. So ultimately, what you want to do is to have directors for each of those departments. And then under that, that's where you have your day-to-day virtual people that are running those specific departments.
Who's in charge of your HR with all of these people?
These days, you don't need much HR. You just basically, I use Gusto for payroll, for timesheets, things like that. And then we use QuickBooks Online for financial. And that's pretty much it. And we just basically have a virtual bookkeeper who's able to reconcile your expenses, provide you monthly P&Ls, and run payroll. That's pretty much that's all you need to do. The other thing too is maybe you may need somebody in-house accountant, the bookkeeper, to just basically be all the finance and settlements and collecting all those things pretty much, but that's it. You don't need anything else.
Those are more rudimentary tasks. What about attracting candidates, interviewing, hiring, training if training is needed? Who does all of that? Because that's a lot of work.
Full-time recruiter, VA, who just has an SOP. We just have a Google Doc that's very cleared out. Here's how you put up a job post on ZipRecruiter and Indeed. Here's exactly how to filter through the resumes. Here are the questions you should ask to pre-qualify them. If they qualify, then go ahead and book a call with either me or one of our managers. So that's for recruiting. Performance managers is a must also. Every role needs to have somebody who's kind of like a manager, hold people accountable. So what I do is for every role, I distill it down to their number one objective of their role. And for every role, there should be a numerical based goal per month that they need to achieve. If sending up clients, well, I need you to sign up 10 clients per month. If it's document collection, that's obvious. For pretty much every role, just a numerical number. And then we have a performance manager who checks in, and it's kind of like a support staff to make sure that they have everything that they need to be able to achieve the number one goal. That's the entire role. And then one other role that we always try to have is a director. It's a director of operations, essentially, that oversees the entire law firm. That is, we've been trying to find people in-house, but we've actually had better success recently having virtual people. We have one virtual assistant who's managing 40, 50 people for one of our law firms, and has been able to grow it beyond what we expected. We're our most successful law firm. We're at almost 400 clients per month, led by a business manager who's a virtual assistant. So you could just imagine. A lot of people, like when they hear about virtual assistants for the first time, or they think like they can only do very menial tasks. But been having virtual assistants for 6 or 7 years, and at this point, I'm already I accept how capable the virtual assistants could be. So yeah, they're capable. If anything, they're probably more capable than people that you can find in-house in here or at your office, basically.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video, you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
I have to know what's their background to be able to manage that many people. This is a very skillful person.
Usually people in their 30s and 40s are a pretty good range. Ideally, nobody fresh, a couple of years of either sales experience, business experience, some kind of experience definitely helps. But no, you'd be surprised. There's gems out there that could run way beyond what you can imagine.
Interesting. For somebody that higher up, although they're virtual, do you hire only in US or will you go outside of the US as well?
Yeah, these are people outside the US for sure. Yeah, these virtual, when I mean by virtual, when I think about virtual, they're usually overseas.
So there is usually a huge disparity in payroll costs between somebody here in Chicago or there in LA, I think you're in LA, right, versus someone in the Philippines or wherever they may be.
Totally, yeah. And the reason is when you're hiring overseas, your talent pool is 1,000x bigger than the talent pool that you have within a 50-mile radius of your law firm. Your law firm, around your law firm, 50-mile radius, there's probably might be maybe 1,000 people that are looking for a job. And out of that, maybe there's like a 1%, 2% that are going to be superstars. Versus if you get a 2% conversion rate of the entire world, you're going to find a lot more gems out there. So just because of that reason, the talent pool, you're a lot more likely to find those A players looking overseas than somewhere around your office.
Super interesting. So folks, as you watch this, please understand, Sam has given away a big chunk of a blueprint. So I hope that you pick up on all the points of brilliance. Like I've had a lot of people on this podcast. You're talking about things that most lawyers and non-lawyers do not talk about. Like it would never actually come to my mind to get a business manager who's in Philippines. It just like, you connected those dots for me, but for me, it's like, you think about like a receptionist service, somebody who's doing data entry or something menial, like you said, right? But not somebody who is managing dozens of people.
Totally. Again, it's one of those things that people always question it. But when you're part of a group, when you hear the stories and you see people winning and growing with these types of teams, it really opens you up. You try it out, you get some good results. I've been literally in the last couple of days, I'm getting members saying, hey, my intakers, the thing that you exposed me to, dedicated intakers to sign up clients for us is working. Like, yeah, I know it works. I'm glad you kind of had the same epiphany, and it blows everybody's mind. So yeah, totally, they could run your law firm for you, as weird as it sounds. And again, people are probably going to hear that and be like, what are you talking about? And or maybe they question it, like maybe for you or maybe for this specific practice type. It's always those if kind of statements, but no, it doesn't have to be.
One of the worst sins that we can commit as business owners, business managers, is to think that somehow our business is different. They're all the same.
They're all the same. Yeah, they're really, it's the same thing.
I got sales. You got operations. I got operations. You got HR. I got HR. You got leadership. I got. It's the same. And you're in the service business. And Sam is in the service business. And I'm in the service business. They're the same. If Sam can do it, you can do it too.